Minecraft's sky has always had so much potential, yet it's completely empty. So what if the sky was basically just as fun to explore as the overworld? Or in other words, a whole new world itself. Which is why today, I'll be transforming the sky from just a game background into a world that's actually worth exploring. We can start simple with the mod Ember's Floating Islands. And I'm gonna be adding a few more floating island mods as well later in the video, but I'll start with this one because it's the most vanilla friendly. So let's go through a few of the islands added, shall we? First, I came upon this island with a beautiful giant cherry tree on it. There was even floating stone stairs connected to it, leading to a different island with a small shrine that has treasures in it. There's also islands that are just little floating pieces of nature, or just ones with a ruined portal. I even found one where there's a small hut with 2 villagers living in it. And sure, there's many more to go, but all of them fit in the game so well, you could barely even tell it's a mod. I mean, it's a game with dragons and flying skeletons. Surely you're not gonna draw the line on sky islands, right? Which is why I think we can take it a step further in the fantasy aspect and add the mod Skyville Ship. This is also another structure mod that only uses vanilla blocks, but bear with me here. What this gives us is 3 different flying villas drifting across the sky. Of course they don't actually move, but they look absolutely stunning, so I had to include them in this video. Due to the size of each villa, they act just like islands with houses being built on them, making them actually worth exploring. Some of them feel peaceful and cozy, while others look like they're hiding danger or loot somewhere on their backs. I mean, this one's basically a living town on it. Honestly, if I saw one of these flying through the clouds, I'd immediately drop everything just to go check it out. So now that we have something to explore in the sky, we'll definitely need something to explore them with other than elytras. And that is where the mod Eureka Ship's Valkyrian Skies come into play. With this, you can build whatever airships you like before crafting some balloons like this to place it on them. Then just place down a helm and voila! You got a moving flying airship that you've built yourself. But this mod doesn't stop there. Remember how I said those flying whales wouldn't move? Well, with the Eureka Ships mod, you can kinda make them move now, just really slow because they're way too big. Okay, this mod's cool, but let's be honest, it's not replacing the elytra. It's just cool to make buildings actually fly in the sky. So let's introduce the Immersive Aircraft mod. Now I'm pretty sure most of you already know this mod, so let me just go through the basics, as it's still a mod we're gonna need for this video. What this mod gives us is 4 rustic aircrafts, but the one we care about today is the aircraft right here, because unlike the biplane, it doesn't need a runway. Just hop in and we're off in the skies. Ah, isn't this nice? With this airship, we'll now be able to explore the sky a little better. So let's add more villagers living up here with the Sky Villages mod. With this mod, there will now be these beautiful looking villages spawning in the sky. It's made out of multiple floating islands all connected with bridges, making it feel like a proper settlement in the clouds. There are little houses sitting on separate islands, larger gathering areas in the middle, and pathways linking everything together like an actual village up here. And I really like how the farms in these villages have a spiral hill design for them. Some islands even have trees, gardens, and little corners that make the whole place feel alive instead of just some random structure floating around. Honestly, this is the kind of place where I actually want to move my base into. Treat it like it's the Sky Biome Village up here. And while you stop by any of these floating islands, whether it's Sky Village or Flying Ville, it would be pretty cool to enjoy a little cooking with the mod Delight O Flight. And yes, by the name, it is indeed a Farmer's Delight add-on that adds a bunch of ways for us to enjoy cooking while we're in the skies. And to do that, it kinda adds another floating island, but this one has a purpose to it. Why? Well, because you can harvest these cloud blocks on it to make it into a weather soil for us to plant cloud mushrooms. And from there, you can make a bunch of sky-themed dishes like cloud bread made with actual clouds, pancakes with cloud berry jam, which is a berry that can be harvested on the island earlier, or this pot of stew made with actual thunder fruits. And as a bonus, this mod also makes phantoms drop their wings, letting us make a phantom wing dish. Just a little fun mod to give us something extra to do while we're up here. But I still feel like we're missing something. Something that usually you'll find in the skies. Oh yeah, birds. That's why we have the mod Fowl Play. Fowl Play adds 13 new birds into the game, each with different characteristics and flying mechanics. They all sound just like how they would in real life too, with how they chirp and the way they flap their wings. It really improves the ambience up here. Oh, and there are crows and ravens too, so maybe craft a scarecrow for your farms. So yeah, now that we've brought birds back to the skies, the only next thing we're missing are realistic clouds. Now this one's probably not for everyone, but I'm still gonna show it to you guys because it's still a really cool mod. This is Simple Clouds, a mod that adds these massive clouds into the game that, although looking blocky, aren't actually solid blocks. Now I actually wasn't sure sure whether I wanted to include this mod into this video or not, as it's still in beta and it doesn't really work with shaders sometimes. But just because of how cool it looks to fly around these clouds made me add it anyways. Not to mention that one of the coolest thing about this mod is that it introduces localized weather into the game. What does that mean? Well, it's sunny here, right? But see those dark clouds in the distance? Yeah, by getting closer to it, you can already hear the thunder rumbling. Basically, the entire world doesn't share one weather anymore with this mod, which I find it to be an awesome feature. Plus, just imagine traveling within these clouds before stumbling upon a floating island like this. It makes the experience so much more magical. And yes, notice how I'm standing on a flying veil right now, yet there are birds flying around and these insane clouds? Well, yeah, that means all the mods that I've introduced so far and the mods I'm about to introduce will be compatible using Forge. So have fun with that. Now, before we add more stuff in the sky, let's get back down to the ground for a bit for a few mods. Starting with the Immersive Structures mod. Now, sure, this is another mod that just adds structures using vanilla blocks, but there was one structure that really caught my eye, and that is the Observatory. Basically, a structure that's made just to observe the sky. Well, it's actually to observe space in real life, but there's no space in Minecraft, so I set the sky instead. I just really like how there's a structure that kinda hints to the player that the sky is something worth exploring, as there's even thunder fruits from the cooking mod earlier as loot here. I mean, with a structure like this, who wouldn't be curious of the sky, right? There's also a bunch of other structures that aren't really relevant to the sky in this mod, but we're not gonna be going through them today. Oh, but there is an airship you can find that you can either loot or actually make it move using the Eureka ships mod. But while we're on the ground, I think we should find ourselves a mount this time instead of using our airship to fly back up there. So how about finding dragons from the Ice and Fire mod? Now, I'm pretty sure not a single one of you would not know this mod at this point, as it's kinda like the most famous mod ever. But hear me out, Minecraft's already fantasy-like enough, and if we're adding all these sky exploration, we're gonna need a dragon. All you have to do is find a giant mother dragon underground, then defeat it, which is not easy at all, so that you can receive its eggs. Depending on the type of dragon you fought, you get an egg with its respective element. Once the eggs hatch, you'll have yourself your very own pet dragon. Now just make some dragon meal to grow it and you're ready to explore the skies with it. But anyways, back in the sky, I've decided to add the Terrarian floating islands mod just for fun. Now, I wouldn't say this is the most well-made mod, but since I'm a fan of Terraria and I'm making a video about exploring the skies, I kinda want a mod that adds sky islands from Terraria. Either these sky lakes for you to fish in, or these sky island houses where inside you might be able to find yourself a Star Fury. Now, there's still one last addition I'd like to add to the skies, and that is some danger to it. Sure, there will now be dragons and giant growling storm clouds, but it's still pretty peaceful up here. So what about the mod Castle in the Sky? This mod adds a gigantic floating castle high above the world that acts as a full dungeon to conquer. The catch is that it's extremely rare, so you could travel tens of thousands of blocks and still never spot one on your own, which is why you want to get yourself a levitation stone, an item that creates a trail of clouds pointing you straight toward the nearest castle. Once you reach it, there'll be treasure rooms packed with strong loot, hidden doors that need colored keys, enemies guarding different sections, and puzzles standing in your way. As you clear more rooms, you unlock deeper parts of the dungeon before finally taking control of the entire castle for yourself. Now that is the kind of sky adventure we needed. And that's basically it. I think we've managed to transform the Minecraft sky into one heck of a world to explore in this video. Anyways, all the mods are in the description, and feel free to subscribe while you're at it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.